we just bought another property. Where did we buy it and why? What's the plan with it? How did we find it? What's the numbers? What tips can I share for buying investment properties? Well, all of those questions are going to be answered in this video coming up. So here we go. We bought this property in the northeast in an area called Sunderland. Sunderland is the little brother of Newcastle and is sometimes overlooked. With a population just over 250,000 and growing every year plus huge regeneration programs, we've got a lot going for it. For example, it's got £500 million being invested just on the city centre regeneration. It's positioned itself as the city of culture, which is helping to bring in and attract new employers and new attraction and tourists. On top of it, it's got a new eye surgery being opening, and it's also opening in a few years the largest water filming studios in Europe. It's already broken ground and that should be operating in the next few years. And historically, it's home to Nissan, Amazon, and it's also in the process with a lot of takers for it for launching its new advanced manufacturing park, where billions are being invested in new technology, engineering, and more things that our future world needs. It's exciting things happening in Sunderland right now. And for this particular property, it's on the same street of a highly rated school, and so brings in strong tenant demand. Whilst a typical 2-bed in Northeast will rent for £500 to £600 per month, this 2-bed is set to bring in about £695 to £750 per month. Right property and right location. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, Dwayne, what's the plan for this property? Simply, it's to refurbish, to add value, rent it to a strong tenant, and then refinance later on. So let me walk you through what's going to be done. So externally, there's going to be a brand new roof fitted on both at the front and at the back. As you can see, it's not in the greatest condition. Yes, the roof could last maybe another 5 or 10 years, but for this example, our client wants to go for a totally brand new roof. And one of the findings done by a Rick surveyor was actually that this paintwork wasn't the type of masonry paint needed, so it's not breathable, and that could cause potentially damp later in the future. And this paint's all going to be scraped off and it's going to be repainted with the right type of masonry paint. This is all going to be repainted to white to make it look nice and fresh. So a key part of the refurb is also the kitchen lounge area. At the moment, the kitchen is quite small and the bathroom is quite small. So what's going to be done? It's the bathroom is next to the kitchen and the wall is going to be moved forward, and then as a result, current kitchen is going to turn into more like a utility room, and then the living room is going to turn into the main cooking area. You've got the front room here, and this is the lounge. It look really nice, modern, and we think this plus a utility room and an upgraded bathroom is really going to help make this property stand out and drive a higher rent, and also help drive to the highest revaluation price too. And on top of that, it's going to be some new doors, some new redecoration. There's also going to be some small improvements in terms of electricals and plumbing. So all in all, the property is going to be like a brand new property. It should stand out from the rest of the market, helping to attract the best tenant and then drive for the highest revaluation. So I think right now there's 4 key questions that are going through your mind. And as a result, I now want to demystify what those are. So I think you're probably asking a question around, what did you pay for the property? How did you even find that property? Why that particular area? Why that property? And what is the number breakdown? So let me go into that right now. So the first thing to share is, what did we pay for the property? It's probably one of the most common questions that we ask. We and our clients buy several properties every month because we've got a really good system of finding it and buying them. In this particular example, it was a client who came from a referral from a long-standing client of ours. And so in this particular case, that client bought the property for £56,500, which I think is a really fair price. The client bought it for cash, and they had a mix of savings and using their SAS pension. The SAS pension is actually covering the refurb costs, and the savings are actually being used to buy the property, so the acquisitions. If you want the help of my team and I to build you a strategic property portfolio in the Northeast and have £40,000 or more to invest, then check out our Investor Toolkit below in the description. You can then book in a strategy call with myself, where I will create you a personalized investment plan that will grow your wealth as well as create a holiday fund. Now, the next question to answer is, how did we find this property? We've been investing in the Northeast for the last 10 years. So since I was at university, that's when I really got started. We've got really good, deep-rooted connections with contacts, and we pay thousands upon thousands of pounds in marketing to bring in new, fresh opportunities direct to vendor sellers, as well as through our contacts and network. Now, in this particular example, we found it through one of our paid marketing channels, and the vendors were quite motivated because it was a husband and wife unfortunately going through divorce, and they wanted to sell the property so they could move on and go their separate ways. So the next question is, what are the numbers? So we purchased property for £56,500. The refurb cost is coming to £25,000 budgeted. There are some transactional costs like legals and stamp duties, but because the property is got some disrepair to it, there's a potential that we can claim back that stamp duty too. So all in, it's about £82,000 all in. Obviously there's some transactional costs in there as I mentioned, and legal costs. So roughly we're in for £82,000. This property is gonna be worth around £95,000. Now with the level of work being done and to the standard, there's actually a potential it might go higher to £100,000. And that's based upon good comparables and recent sales too. Upon refinance, there'll be a large chunk of money coming out of the investment of the £82,000. It should be somewhere between £62,000 if 95 is achieved of the refinance value, or it could actually go to £67,000 if £100,000 is achieved. And so this will then go towards being recycled towards more future investments for that particular client. And in terms of cash flow, it's really strong. It's going to be above £300 per calendar month after the refinance. And in terms of rent and net cash flow, so as you remember, we expect to rent it for £695 to £700 per calendar month, which we expect to generate a healthy cash flow of £300 per calendar month plus. Now, based upon the amount of money that will be left in once we refinance, we expect to generate roughly a 20% or so ROI on the money. So based upon the amount of capital that will be left in the property, we expect to have between a 15 to 20% ROI. Really strong, given especially the client is only earning around 2 to 3% on their savings. And if they left it in their pension and invested in an index fund, they would only be achieving around 6, 7, maybe up to 10% return. So they're getting 15% to 20% on the return on the capital left in, and that doesn't factor in that there's going to be capital growth as well as future equity distribution through refinancing. Our clients are already busy professional. So in this particular example, and what's more is our client's a busy professional and his wife owns her own business as well. So they're really busy. They've got social life, they've got family commitments, they travel regularly as well. In this example, they haven't even had to leave the comfort of their home. We're handling it all for them. So we've found the property, our build team's managing that, and our lettings team is also going to manage getting a good tenant in place. They don't even have to leave the comfort of the home, and they've got this really strong return on investment. If you like the look of this case study in this video, why not check out these case studies too?